जय राधा माधवा कुंज विहारी। जय राधा माधवा कुंज विहारी। जय गोपी जन वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी। जय गोपी जन वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी। यशोदनन्दन व्रज जन रंजना। यशोदनन्दन व्रज जन रंजना। यमुना तीरावनचारी। यमुना तीरावनचारी। जय राधा माधवा कुंज विहारी। जय राधा माधवा कुंज विहारी। जय गोपी जन वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी। जय गोपी जन वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी। यशोदनन्दन व्रज जन रंजना। यशोदनन्दन व्रज जन रंजना। यमुना तीरावनचारी। यमुना तीरावनचारी। जय राधा माधवा कुंज विहारी। जय गोपी जन वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी। यशोदनन्दन व्रज जन रंजना। यमुना तीरावनचारी। यमुना तीरावनचारी। जय राधा माधवा कुंज विहारी। Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari. Jaya Krishna Balaram, Jaya Krishna Balaram, Krishna Balaram, Jaya Krishna Balaram. Jaya Gauranitai, Jaya Gauranitai, Gauranitai, Jaya Gauranitai. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Prabhupada. Jamishapat Paraman Saparivrajakatarya Sottara Satasri Srimad His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jamishapat Paraman Saparivrajakatarya Sottara Satasri Srimad His Divine Grace Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai. Prem se kaho Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasati Gaura Bhatta Vrinda Ki Jai. ग्रंथराज श्रीमद्भागवतम की जय। श्री श्री कृष्ण बलराम की जय। श्री श्री गौर निताय की जय। हरे कृष्ण महामंत्र की जय। जगत गुरु श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। Reading from Srimad-Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter number 22, The Marriage of Kardamamuni and Devahuti, text number 22 onwards. 22 doesn't have a purport. 23, 24 and 25 are related. So we'll read all of them. Text number 22, we'll chant together. Saha anu jnatva vyavasitam sonu jnatva vyavasitam sonu jnatva vyavasitam mahishya duhituhu sputam mahishya duhituhu sputam mahishya duhituhu sputam tasmai guna gana adhyaya tasmai gunaganadhyaya tasmai gunaganadhyaya dadau tulyam praharshitah dadau tulyam praharshitah dadau tulyam praharshitah sonujatva vyavasitam mahishya duhito sputam tasmai gunaganadhyaya dadau tulyam praharshitah sonujnatva vyavasitam mahishya duhito sputam tasmai gunaganadhyaya dadau tulyam praharshitah. Saha, he, Emperor Manu, Anu, afterward, Jnatva, having known, Vyavasitam, the fixed decision, Mahishyaha, of the queen, Duhituhu, of his daughter, Sputam, clearly, Tasmai, to him, Gunagana Adhyaya, who was endowed with a host of virtues, Dadau, gave away, Tulyam, who was equal in good qualities, Praharshitaha, extremely pleased. Translation by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. After having unmistakably known the decision of the queen, as well as that of Devahuti, the emperor most gladly gave his daughter to the sage, whose host of virtues was equalled by hers. Kindly repeat. After having unmistakably known the decision of the queen, as well as that of Devahuti, the emperor most gladly gave his daughter to the sage, whose host of virtues was equalled by hers. Text number 23, I'll read by myself. Shatarupa Maharajni Paribarhan Mahadhanan Dampatyoh Pradyadat Pritya Bhushavasah Parichadan. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. Empress Shatarupa lovingly gave most valuable presents suitable for the occasion, such as jewelry, clothes, and household articles, in dowry to the bride and bridegroom. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. The custom of giving one's daughter in charity with a dowry is still current in India. The gifts are given according to the position of the father of the bride. Paribarhan Mahadhanan means the dowry which must be awarded to the bridegroom at the time of marriage. Here, Mahadhanan means greatly valuable gifts befitting the dowry of an empress. The words Bhusha Vasaha Parichadan also appear here. Bhusha means ornaments, Vasaha means clothing, and Parichadan means various household articles. All things befitting the marriage ceremony of an emperor's daughter were awarded to Kardama Muni, who was until now observing celibacy as a brahmachari. The bride, Devahuti, was very richly dressed with ornaments and clothing. In this way, Kardama Muni was married with full opulence to a qualified wife and was endowed with the necessary paraphernalia for household life. In the Vedic way of marriage, such a dowry is still given to the bridegroom by the father of the bride. Even in poverty-stricken India, there are marriages where hundreds and thousands of rupees are spent for a dowry. The dowry system is not illegal, as some have tried to prove. The dowry is a gift given to the daughter by the father to show goodwill, and it is compulsory. In rare cases where the father is completely unable to give a dowry, it is enjoined that he must at least give a fruit and a flower. As stated in Bhagavad-gita, God can also be pleased even by a fruit and a flower. When there is financial inability and no question of accumulating a dowry by another means, one can give a fruit and flower for the satisfaction of the bridegroom. Text number 24. Prattam duhitaram samrat sadrikshaya gatavyataha upaguhya cha bahubhyam outkanthyon. Translation. Thus relieved of his responsibility by handing over his daughter to a suitable man, Swayambhuva Manu, his mind agitated by feelings of separation, embraced his affectionate daughter with both his arms. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. A father always remains in anxiety until he can hand over his grown-up daughter to a suitable boy. A father and mother's responsibility for children continues until they marry them to suitable spouses. When the father is able to perform the duty, he is relieved of his responsibility. Text number 25. Asaknuvam stadviraham munchan bashpakalam muhu asinchadamba vatseti netrodair duhituh sikhaha. Translation. The emperor was unable to bear the separation of his daughter. Therefore, tears poured from his eyes again and again, drenching his daughter's head as he cried, "My dear mother, my dear daughter." Purport by Srila Prabhupada. The word Amba is significant. A father sometimes addresses his daughter in affection as mother and sometimes as my darling. The feeling of separation occurs because until the daughter is married, she remains the daughter of the father. But after her marriage, she is no longer claimed as a daughter in the family. She must go to the husband's house, for after marriage, she becomes the property of the husband. According to Manu Samhita, a woman is never independent. She must remain the property of the father while she is not married, and she must remain the property of the husband until she is elderly and has grown-up children of her own. In old age, when the husband has taken sannyas and left home, she remains the property of the sons. A woman is always dependent, either upon the father, husband, or elderly sons. That will be exhibited in the life of Devahuti. Devahuti's father handed over responsibility for her to the husband, Kardamumuni, and in the same way, Kardamumuni also left home, giving the responsibility to his son, Kapiladeva. This narration will describe these events one after another. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purport. Om Ajnanatirandasya Jnananjanachalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Nitinamine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langhayate Girim Yat Kripatamaham Mande Shri Gurum Dinataranam. Swayambhuva Manu is one of the 12 Mahajanas. These 12 Mahajanas are mentioned by Yamaraj to his Yamadutas. Why did Yamaraj mention the names of the 12 Mahajanas to the Yamadutas? Because when the Yamadutas went to pick up Ajamila, who was in his 80s, he had become quite old, and he had lived a life of sinful activity. In his youth, of course, he had been a good Brahmana, worshipping Lord Vishnu, worshipping the deity at home, serving his parents very well, taking care of his wife, children, etc. But later, due to bad association, he became attached to a prostitute, threw his wife out of the house, threw his parents out of the house, and started a live-in relationship with the prostitute and had many children with her. Finally, when the time of death came, he had to quit his body. At that time, the Yamadutas reached the spot. Whenever a person dies, when the time comes for the soul to leave the body, the time of residence in each body is fixed for the soul according to his past karma. When the appointed time approaches for the soul to leave the body, the Yamadutas come and pick up the soul, and they take him to Yamaloka, where suitable decision is given based on the activities of his life, what his next life is going to be, and according to the sinful activities he has done, some amount of suffering he has to undergo, some punishment he has to undergo in the hellish planets, Narakaloka, which consists of Rasatala, Talatala, so many are there planets. There he undergoes punishment and then he is given another body suitable to his life, whatever activities he has done. When the time came for Ajamila to quit his body, naturally the Yamadutas appeared on the spot. And the Yamadutas, they were trying to take Ajamila away. But at that moment, when Ajamila saw the Yamadutas, he became very fearful because they were looking very frightening, very tall, well-built, and with sharp teeth and hair all scattered, red eyes, holding very dangerous weapons in their hand. Their dress, their appearance, everything strikes fear in the heart for any living entity. Ajamila also got afraid. And he started calling out to his son, whom he had named Narayana. But then, that same Narayana whom he had worshipped in his youth, he gave him the remembrance to chant actually the name of Narayana. And when he started actually calling out to Narayana, immediately on the spot, Vishnu Dutas appeared. And they forbade the Yamadutas from taking away Ajamila. Then, naturally, the Yamadutas wanted to establish, the Yamadutas could not recognize who these Vishnu Dutas were. They did not know. But then they could make out that by their appearance, by their effulgence and four-handed form, very beautiful looking, adorned with valuable ornaments, gold and diamonds and all that. When they saw them, they could understand that these are not ordinary people. Therefore, they were respectful to them. But they had an argument with them. But why are you stopping us? Who are you to stop us? As per Dharma, we have to take him away, and all those kind of things. The Vishnudutas gave their counter-argument. And finally, the Yamadutas did not have an answer. So they left Ajamila and went to Yamaraj, thinking that let us ask Yamaraj himself how to understand this situation. They went to Yamaraj and explained the whole thing to him and told him that we have known you to be the most powerful, all-powerful Lord of Death. Nobody can escape death. You are that way. You are the controller of everyone. But today, two people looking very beautiful, bluish in complexion, with 4 hands, and wearing yellow, golden yellow-colored silk cloth, and wearing all kinds of wonderful, valuable ornaments, gold and diamonds and all that, and having their heads adorned with golden crowns, they came and stopped us. And these are the things they told us. We have never seen these people before. And when they forbade us, we felt that meaning Yamaraj's power has been checked. So is there somebody superior to you? Is there somebody greater than you? And how do we understand that these people have stopped us? At that time, Yamaraj explained to them that whenever anybody chants Krishna's holy name, the Yamadutas should not go anywhere near them. And the Yamadutas asked, so how do we know what is Dharma, what is Adharma? According to Dharma, he has done a lot of sinful activities, so he should be suffering in hell. But these Vishnudutas came and said, no more suffering for him. So where is Dharma, where is Adharma? At that time, Yamaraj told them that actual meaning of the Dharma, what is Dharma, is known only to 12 people, who are these Mahajanas. And Yamaraj is one of those Mahajanas. So in that list of 12 Mahajanas, one of them is Swayambhuva Manu. Now this Swayambhuva Manu, when we speak of him being a Mahajana, Mahajana means a great pure devotee who knows the intricacies of Dharma. And because Manu Swayambhu Manu knows the intricacies of dharma. Therefore, he has written the Manu Samhita, which is a manual by which people can conduct their lives and live their life according to dharma. This is the background of Swayambhu Manu. Now, Swayambhu Manu, in his Manu Samhita, he has stated a few things which in today's context appears controversial. One of the things is about the way girls' marriage has to be conducted by the parents. The parents have to, when the marriage of the daughter is being conducted, the parents have to give the daughter away in charity. Kanya Dana has to be done. And further, the daughter is considered the property of the father till she is married. And once she is married, she is the property of the husband. We have in Indian tradition, we have something known as Gotra. Gotra means the rishis from whom we are all descending. The original Prajapatis from whom we are all descending. Now, when the girl is born in a particular family, she takes on the Gotra of the father of the family. And the moment she is married, she becomes part of the husband's Gotra. We can understand, and we also have the system which is prevalent in all parts of the world, that when the girl gets married to someone, until she is married, her surname will be her father's surname. Moment she gets married, her surname will be changed to her husband's name. Nowadays, of course, many people are thinking why all these things are required. Many girls, they don't change their surname even after marriage. They continue to keep their original surname. But even in that case also, they are keeping the surname of their father. Even there also, even if you don't switch over your surname to your father, still that girl is keeping the surname of the, if she does not take on the surname of the husband after marriage, she is still keeping the surname of the father only. That way, she is still being subordinate to the male member of the family. And during marriage, when the father gives the daughter away in charity to the husband, he also has to give a dowry. It is compulsory, Prabhupada is mentioning. Many people have tried to make dowry illegal. But dowry in its original form is not illegal, and it is not the kind of evil it has become today. Today, dowry is fixed by the boy's side. If the boy is educated up to degree, in dowry he has to get one bike. If he is having a government job, he has to get a car in dowry. If he is some very top government official, then the girl's side have to give some house in flat in charity, in dowry. These are the kind of practices prevalent today, especially in North India. If you come to South India, it is all gold. When according to the caste of the family, the things are fixed. In this caste means this much sovereigns of gold must be there, must be given in dowry to the girl. Otherwise, the boy side and all will not accept. So, in today's world, dowry has become compulsory from the boy's side, not from the girl's side. And therefore, it has become an evil. We have even cases where the father is not able to give the dowry demanded by the boy's side, and the boy's side start harassing the girl. And sometimes they even commit murder. These kind of things are all happening. These are all because people have got a distorted view of the practices which were there, of the instructions which are given in the Manu Samhita. We have to understand that when the girl has to be given in charity, and when it is said that the girl is the property of the father or the husband or the sons, how do we understand this? Now, Mahajana, being a Mahajana, Swayambhuva Manu has got a great responsibility to not only teach the public what the rules are, but also show by personal example how these rules have to be followed. This is an important uh, responsibility of a leader in the society. And Swayambhu Manu is the foremost leader for all humankind. He is called Manu, and all human beings are called Manushya after Manu. And therefore, Manu is the first human being, and therefore he is the first original leader of all the human mankind. And therefore, he has got a great responsibility to establish how to carry out these rules and regulations. When we give a set of rules and regulations, sometimes all the associated things cannot be spelt out so clearly. Generally, when we give a rule, we just give one rule. Now, after that, somebody has to explain it to us. That is how, even though science books may be there, formulas may be there, theories may be there, theorems may be there, still you have to learn from a teacher the same subject matter to be able to understand it properly. So, in the when the Yamadutas, when they forbade, when they told the Vishnu Dutas that taking away Ajamila was their right because it was according to the rules of Dharma, the Vishnu Dutas immediately they replied, well, you are talking about Dharma? You have no idea what is Dharma. You are supposed to be the followers of Dharma Raja, Yamaraj. And being followers of Dharmaraj, if you yourself commit adharma, then what will happen to the common mass of people? So the Vishnu Dutas made a statement. They said, Yad yad acharati shreyan, itaratas tattad ihate, sayat pramanam gurute, lokas tad anuvartate. This is a verse which is very similar to what Krishna says in the 3rd chapter of the Bhagavad-gita. Yad yad acharati shreshthas tattadeva acharati. What is that? Tattadeve toro janaha sayat pramanam gurute lokastad anuvartate. Very similar verse. So, this actually the Vishnu Dutas, they said that whatever activity, whatever action is performed by a leader, Shreyan or Shrestha or Sirshanya, in the 4th canto of the Srimad-Bhagavatam also about Rishabhadev also, similar statement is made. Tattat Sirshanyacharitam lokastad anuvartate. So when a Shreya or a Sirshanya or a Shrestha, meaning a leader in society, whatever action he performs, lokastad anuvartate, the entire common mass of people will follow in the footsteps of that leader. This is a common phenomenon. It is natural because the common mass of people look up to the leaders, what they have to do and how they have to do. They look up to the leaders for the performance of their duties. What their duties are and how they have to be performed is, for the common mass of people, it's not very easy for them to comprehend. By studying the scriptures is very difficult for them to comprehend. Therefore, studying the scriptures is done by the intellectual class of people, the Brahmanas, and they advise the Kshatriyas, and Kshatriyas being the leaders in the society, by their personal example, they demonstrate to the common mass of people how they should live their life by following their various duties. And the Vishnu Dutas further, they gave a wonderful example. They said, Yasyanke shira adhaya, lokaha swapiti nirvrataha, swayam dharmam adharmam va, nahi veda yatha pashuhu. The common mass of people, they are compared just like they are very innocent. They are swayam dharmam adharmam va. They on their own, they are not capable of discriminating and differentiating what is dharma and adharma, because the intricacies of dharma are so complex. It is not very easy to be able to understand them and perform one's duties accordingly. It's very, very difficult. Very, very intricate and complex it is. Because in this world, what happens is, we are not living all alone. We are living in the midst of many, many people. And not only are we living in the midst of many, many people, there are so many devatas to whom we are indebted. There are so many animals, domesticated animals from whom we take service. So we live in a world surrounded by a complex web of relationships between different kinds of personalities. And in those relationships, we have to carry out various kinds of activities where we require to take the assistance of different kinds of people. For example, to be able to maintain one's intelligence and proper health of the body in terms of calcium for the bone, vitamin B12 for our memory, etc. We need cow's milk. Cow's milk is very essential. Without that, we cannot live. And therefore, we have to take the help of the cow. We cannot live without that. But the moment so we are dependent upon so many things like this. We are dependent upon the sunlight. We are dependent upon the moon, the sunlight for maintaining the health of our body. The moonshine is required for nourishment of the plants so that the vegetables and other things that we get, they have all the nutrients which are required for the body. Like this, we are dependent on so many things, so many arrangements by different kinds of personalities, animals, human beings, devatas, etc., etc. We are indebted to our parents for the body. Without our parents, we cannot have this body. Like this, our life is surrounded by a complex web of interrelationships which we cannot avoid. And because of which we have to take the assistance of all kinds of people to be able to sustain our life properly and to execute the goal of life, which is to go back to Godhead. And therefore, when there is such a complicated, intricate web around us, it's not easy to be able to understand what is the right duty to perform and what is dharma and what is adharma. Dharma and adharma in the sense of what is righteous life to live, what are the duties to be performed, and what are the regulations to be avoided. Now, what happens is the common mass of people being very innocent, the example given by the Vishnu Dutas is just like, suppose we have a pet animal at home. Yasyanke shira adhaya swapiti nirvrataha. Now, that pet animal, you are petting the animal. Let us say you have a dog or a cat at home, and the cat or dog comes, and then it starts, you start nicely caressing the dog, pet dog. And the pet dog, then what it does, it puts your head on your lap and it goes to sleep. So, yasyanke, anka means on your lap, shira adhaya, keeping the head. Swapiti, the animal goes to sleep. Nirvrataha, very confidently, very with a lot of faith in you that you will take care of the animal when it is sleeping. The animal is not afraid of you. The animal has full confidence. This is my master. If I keep my head on his lap and sleep, he will protect me. Therefore, it is the duty of the master to take care of the animal. He cannot think, oh, this animal is now sleeping, let me cut off its head. Such cruelty is not expected. The master is expected to retain that faith and confidence of the animal in that master. Why? Because the animal is very innocent. It does not know whether you have good intentions or evil intentions. It is reposing faith in you because you are its master. In a similar way, yatha pashu, similar to an innocent animal, which reposes complete faith in its master. Similarly, the common mass of people who are very innocent, they repose complete faith in the leaders of the society. And therefore, it is the duty of the leaders, dharmam adharmam. It is the duty of the leaders to guide the citizens, the innocent citizens, properly what is dharma and adharma. This is the most important duty for a leader in the society. Economic development and other such things are secondary. The most important thing is the citizens of the country have reposed complete faith in the king or the leader, that he or the prime minister or the president, that he will guide us on the right path of dharma. Therefore, it is the duty of the leaders in the society to guide the people by their personal actions, by their personal life, how the citizens should lead a life of dharma. And therefore, the Vishnuduta said, if Yamaraj is supposed to be Dharmaraj, and if he himself commits adharma, then what will happen to the common mass of people? And they said, you people, Vishnuduta, the Yamadutas, you are talking about dharma being, the path of dharma being to take away Ajamila, but you people don't know what is dharma. What has Yamaraj taught you? That man has chanted Narayana's name, so over, finished, all his sinful reactions are gone. You cannot assess him on the basis of his past activities now. This is real dharma. You people have not understood dharma. And that is how they went and asked Yamaraj, and Yamaraj told them, real dharma is known only to me. It's not so easy. And according to dharma, somebody has chanted the Lord Vishnu's name, you have no jurisdiction over them. Now, Swayambhu Manu, being the leader of the mankind, he is living his life. Although he is a Mahajana, he is a pure devotee, he is completely unattached, he is detached from all material activities. Still, he has a great duty to perform, to set an example for the people, to make them understand how to follow the rules and regulations which are given in the Manu Samhita. Now, when the Manu Samhita is saying that the girl is the property of the father, generally in today's world, the people's thinking is, my property means it is for my sense enjoyment. I can exploit it the way I want. Nobody can question me. This is what people think. That is how, some time back in Madhya Pradesh, there was an incident where a man gave his underage daughter in charity to a bogus so-called sadhu. And that sadhu took that girl and exploited her. And later that girl and the mother went and lodged a police complaint and all that. And this, when the police came to arrest the sadhu, sadhu produced one stamp paper document where the father has written that I am giving away my daughter in charity to this man. Naturally, everybody was upset. What is this father? How can he do this to his daughter? He thinks she's his property or what? The fact is that father was wrong. Like Manu has set the example, it is the duty of the father to assess whether the groom to whom he is handing over his daughter is well qualified or not. In the 22nd verse, it is said, Tasmai gunaganadhyaya dadau tulyam praharshitaha. Swayambhu Manu praharshitaha, he gave away his daughter in charity to Kardama Muni, praharshitaha, very happily. Why he was so happy in giving away his daughter? Because Tasmai, that to whom he gave his daughter was Kardama Muni, who was gunaganadhyaya. Guna means qualities. Gunagana means multitude of qualities. It's not that he had only one quality, Kardama Muni. Kardama Muni had many, many qualities, good qualities. And Gunagana Adhyaya. Adhya means wealth, opulence. Kardama Muni was possessing an opulence, a wealth of great qualities. He was not possessing Adhya, he was not possessing an opulence of gold and jewels. He was a hermit, he was living in the forest, he did not even have a proper, he had only a thatched hut for his residence, otherwise he did not have anything. In fact, all the household articles required for carrying out the household life had to be given by Swayambhu Manu as a gift to his daughter so that she could cook at home and all those things, otherwise even that was not there. We can understand from that. So Kardama Muni, that way, he did not have a material adhya. He was not endowed with material opulence. Materially, he was poor. He was wearing tree bark and matted hair and all that. We did not have any ornaments. But then, Gunagana Adhyaya, he was endowed, he was bestowed, he was possessing wonderful qualities. And therefore, Praharshitaha, he was very satisfied, very happy. in giving his daughter, Swayambhu Manu, in giving his daughter to Kardama Muni. And not only did he see whether the boy was qualified enough, he also saw Dadau Tulyam. He saw that his daughter also was equally qualified. For a good marriage to happen, the husband and the wife should be equally qualified. Then both of them will have a very harmonious marriage. This Manu is establishing by his personal example. He first assessed whether the boy has good qualities. Yes, he is endowed with many good qualities. Is my daughter equal to him? Yes, she is equal to him. But these were not the only two considerations. Another thing was, what he considered was, Mahishya duhituhu sputam jnatva. He understood from both his wife, Shatarupa, as well as his daughter, whether both of them are consenting to this relationship. And how he knew sputam jnatva, knowing 100% sure that yes, my daughter is happy to marry him and my wife, her mother, is also willing for this relationship. You see what all considerations Manu had. And he is first finding out whether he wants to be 100% sure. Is his daughter happy with this marriage? Is she willing to marry him? And not only daughter, is the mother also willing? So you can understand from this that Manu, the father, is not taking a unilateral decision. This man who gave away his daughter to that bogus sadhu, he took a unilateral decision. My daughter, no, I'll decide what I want to do. Swayambhu Manu is, by his personal example, is showing a father cannot be irresponsible like that. When the time comes for his daughter's marriage, he has to ensure the boy is of good qualities, and whether his daughter also has, she matches him in quality, whether his wife also agrees with the relationship, whether his daughter is also agreeable for this relationship. All this the father has to ensure. Only then he can carry out the wedding. So you can see in the decision making of the family how the man is not the final authority. He is taking the consent of the wife as well as the daughter. So although women are supposed to be, in the Manu Samhita it is saying, women are not supposed to be independent. They have to be dependent on the husband or the father or the son. And the woman is considered the property of the father or the husband or the son, according to the stage at which she is in her life. It does not mean that that male member of the family can exploit that girl. If it was taken in that sense that she is my property, I can do whatever I want with my property, then Manu would never have bothered to ask Devahuti and Shatarupa. He would have gone ahead and said, I like him, so go ahead and marry. That's all, I've told. You are marrying him, over. If the girl says, no, I don't like nothing doing, I've decided, you marry. No, this was not the system. Manu is establishing, he is demonstrating by his personal example. So this means what? In the decision making in the family, the opinion of the woman members of the family was also very important. Without a consensus, decision would not be taken. So what is the meaning then of saying that the girl is the property of the father or the husband or the sons? Because in the current day, when we say property, the whole society is oriented towards sense gratification, and the understanding is that if I possess something, it is for my enjoyment. Therefore, when we say the girl is the property of the father, we say, what is all this? This is all very primitive kind of thinking. This is suppression of women, etc. All these kind of thoughts come up. But then we have to understand the basic, the fundamental culture of the society which Manu had established. The fundamental culture was that nothing belongs to me. Everything belongs to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. And whatever property I possess currently is given to me for some time for safekeeping on behalf of the Supreme Lord. It is a responsibility. Whenever I say I have a property, it does not mean it is for my enjoyment. It means it's a responsibility given to me. Just like, for example, if a man becomes a soldier, let us say he becomes a commando in the army. The moment he becomes a commando in the army, the government, with the army, will give him one rifle, or let us say a semi-automatic weapon. Now, that semi-automatic weapon, when it is given to him, what is the understanding? Is it the understanding that it is the property of his and he can use it wherever he wants, he can go and shoot whomever he wants? No. It is a responsibility given by the government. You please keep this with you. When required, I will tell you, it has to be used in the protection of the citizens. There is a purpose. It's a great responsibility. When that man is holding that semi-automatic weapon, it comes with great responsibility. If he misuses that even slightly, the government will take away that object from him and say, you are no longer entitled for this. Similarly, in the Vedic system, property means it is given to a person to engage in Krishna's service. That is the responsibility given to a person when it's said that he has certain property. So, when the girl becomes a man's wife and she becomes the property of the husband, it's not that he can use her in whatever way he wants. On the other hand, you look at Swayambhu Manu, he is taking the consent of his Mahishya Sputam Jnatva. He is asking, are you also giving your consent for this marriage? And Shatarupa said, yes, I am happy. Then Manu said, okay, then we can go ahead with this marriage. So if Manu were thinking, hey, wife is my property, I can do what I want, why I have to ask her? No, that was not the spirit at all. Therefore, when Swayambhu Manu is treating his daughter as property means great responsibility has been given to me by Krishna. I have to protect her and see that she is engaged in Krishna's service. So property means great responsibility. And that is why when he handed her over, when he did Kanyadana means what? He is handing over the responsibility to Kardama Muni. And that is what is stated here. That, where is that? Gatavyathaha. It is said here. Pratam duhitaram samrat. Samrat means the emperor Swayambhu Manu. Sadrikshaya gatavyataha. Sadrikshaya means to a suitable person. When he understood, oh, Kardama Muni is a suitable person, and now I have handed over my daughter to her, he felt gatavyataha. Great responsibility has been lifted from my shoulders. This is the meaning of Kanyadana. Kanyadana means I am handing over my responsibility of my daughter to you. Now, the burden of responsibility is on the husband, Kardama Muni. So now Kardama Muni has taken great burden on his shoulders. And now I am responsible for this girl. What is that responsibility? The responsibility is I have to guide her on the path back to Godhead. Therefore, Kanyadana, property, we have to, when these words are used in Manu Samhita, we have to understand that it means great responsibility being bestowed upon the owner. Not that it is meant for exploitation and for sense enjoyment. That's not the mood. And this has been shown by Manu by his personal example, because it is his duty to establish what is dharma. Although he has given it in writing in the form of Manu Samhita, still by his personal example he is carrying out and showing. Otherwise people will misinterpret, which is what people do today. People are misinterpreting and thinking woman is supposed to be suppressed and oppressed and all that by the men, which is not the reality. That is why Swayambhu Manu had to set a personal example. Otherwise people would take Manu Samhita and utilize it to, the men would utilize it to exploit the women. Therefore, Yaddedacharati Shreyan itaratas tattadihate. Yaddedacharati Shreshas tattadevetaro janaha. Yachirshanyacharitam lokastadanuvartate. It is the responsibility of the leaders to set the example which the people can follow. Therefore, we should not misinterpret the scriptures. We should follow in the footsteps of the Mahajanas. Swayambhu Manu is a Mahajana. He is setting an example. Although personally he is detached, he doesn't need a family life, but still he is having a family and conducting the wedding of his daughter and all in an exemplary manner, so that people, the common humankind, can understand as a father how I have to execute my responsibility towards my daughter, how I have to live my life as a responsible husband. These are all injunctions which are given in the scriptures. This is how we can understand today's verses. If there is anything anybody would like to, yes, please.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
We have seen today the pastime of Ajamila chanting Lord Narayana's name at the moment of death.
Yes.
And he was taken by the Vishnu Dutas.
Yeah.
So we see a similar example here in our country, India, where Mahatma Gandhi at the moment of death chanted Hey Ram before he left the body.
Yeah.
So what could be the reason which contributed or attributed to Mahatma Gandhi remembering Krishna's name or Rama? And what would be his destination according to your opinion, Prabhu?
See, according to the scriptures, it's very clear. Krishna says in the Bhagavad-gita, Yam yam vapi smaran bhavam tyajatyante kalevaram tam tameva iti kaunteya sada sad bhavitaha. So Krishna says in the Bhagavad-gita, Yam yam vapi smaran, whatever we remember at the point of death, we will achieve that without fail. If somebody, not only Gandhi, anybody for that matter, anybody remembers the Supreme Lord and chants his holy name while quitting his body, he will definitely, he will go back to Godhead. That is the reality. Now, how a person gets that intelligence to chant the Lord's name at the time of death, that is not very easy for a person. Nobody can think that, okay, I'll live my whole life doing all kinds of sinful activities, and at the time of death, I'll chant the Lord's name, then I'll become free from all sinful reactions. It doesn't happen like that. Because what one remembers at the time of death is determined by what we have done in our life. If we have lived our life chanting Krishna's holy name, then at the point of death, Krishna will give us the remembrance. Because ultimately, remembering or forgetting something is not in my hand. It is in the hands of the Supreme Lord. As Krishna says in the Bhagavad-gita, that mattah smritir jnanam apohanam cha. Knowledge, remembrance and forgetfulness come from the Paramatma within the heart. So, according to the activities in our life, if we have done any sort of devotional service to the Supreme Lord at any point of time in our life, Krishna always remembers that. That's a characteristic of Krishna. Krishna is very grateful, and even small service somebody does for him, Krishna considers, oh, this person has done a great service to me. So Krishna's nature is like that. He is very magnanimous. Just like Putana, she did a very small thing. She fed her breast milk to Krishna. What was her intention? Her intention was something else. That the poison which she had smeared on her breast will be sucked by the child and the child will die. But Krishna did not consider all that. Krishna considered, oh, Putana has given me her milk to drink. She is my mother. This is Krishna's nature, his swabhava. Even a small thing we do in Krishna's service, one flower we go and offer to Krishna even once. For Krishna, it's a very big thing. Lord Ramachandra also in the Ramayana, what does he say? Lord Ramachandra says, Sakrideva prapanno yas tavasmi iti achate. Sakrid means even once, if somebody surrenders to me and says, Tavasmi, I am yours. Abhayam sarvada tasmai dadami etad vratam mama. It is my vrata, it is my vow that forever I will give him my protection. Although the person asked only once. It's not that he is asking every time. He asked only once. But for Lord Ramachandra, he's saying, even if once somebody has surrendered to me, then my vow is, I will protect him forever, sarvada, always. This is the nature of Krishna. And the nature of devotional service is, as Krishna says in the Bhagavad-gita, Neha bhikramana shosti pratyavayona vidyate. Even a little devotional service we do, there is neither diminution nor loss. In the case of Ajamila, why he was able to take the name of Lord Narayana? Because in his youth, he had rendered service to Narayana. He had done deity worship. He had been a good devotee. But somehow, due to some weakness, he fell down. And although he fell down, he forgot Narayana. Narayana did not forget him. Narayana was always thinking, he did so much devotional service to me. So, although he is now drinking poison, why should I give him poison? I'll give him nectar. And therefore, when his youngest son was born, the Lord, Narayana, Paramatma within the heart, gave him the intelligence, Matta Smritir Jnanam Apohanamcha, gave him the intelligence to name his son Narayana. And so while playing with him, while talking to him, he went on calling, Narayana, come here. Narayana, what are you doing? Narayana, did you have your food? Narayana, come play with me. Blah, blah, always Narayana, Narayana, Narayana. And so finally, when the Yamadutas came, actually, he started calling out to Narayana, his son. Who? Ajamila. But then, when he called out to Narayana, Krishna gave him the intelligence. What will this boy Narayana help me? He is after all a small kid. He is also, I cannot stand against the Yamadutas, what this fellow will do. Then he remembered the Narayana whom he had served in his youth. Then he actually started calling out to Narayana. And that is when the Yamadutas came. So, although in his major portion of his life, Ajamila had done so many sinful activities, totally forgetting Narayana, still, that little devotional service he had done in the beginning of his life, Narayana considered that and kept aside all his sinful activities. And therefore, at the time of death, he was able to remember Narayana because of the devotional service he had done at the beginning. So that means, no matter how much sinful activity we may do, how much sense gratification we may do, if you have done little devotional service, the power of that devotional service is far, far greater than the material engagements that we engage in. And that impression in our heart overpowers the material impressions in the heart. Whatever activity we do in our life, they leave impressions in our heart, in our mind. And those impressions come to the fore when the time of death approaches. So if you have done even a little devotional service to Krishna, then what happens is, at the last moment, that will overpower all our other material impressions, which is what happened with Ajamila. Same way with Gandhiji also. Gandhiji, he may have been, most of his life, he may have been fighting for the nation, fighting for Swarajya and all that, but still, he did some devotional service in reading the Bhagavad-gita. And therefore, the Lord gave him the intelligence to remember the Lord's name. And if he has taken the names of the Lord while quitting his body, like Ajamila, he will also get an opportunity in his next life to continue his devotional service and perfect his life. That's what we can understand. Is that okay? Anything else? Yes.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. What is the remedy for women from irresponsible fathers and husbands in the Manu Samhita?
Actually, in the Manu Samhita, it is the responsibility of the king to ensure that dharma is followed. If there is any husband or father who is being irresponsible, it is the duty of the leader to punish him. And overall responsibility of protection of the woman lies with the king, lies with the ruler. In today's world, it is the prime minister or president or whatever. So, there is a check and balance that if the father or the husband fails in his duty, then the king will step in. Not some local policeman or something. The king himself has to step in and protect. In the Vedic system, Sanatana Dharma system, women, children, old people, cows. These four things are supposed to be given special protection by the rulers. So if the man fails in his duty, the king has to step in. King has to personally step in. Just like we see how in the case of Parikshit Maharaj, when Kali personified, he broke the legs of Dharma and he had beaten and bruised the Mother Earth in the form of a cow very badly. Parikshit Maharaj himself stepped in. He did not appoint some secretary or some minister, go and see what is happening, investigate, form a commission, find out what is there and tell me. No. He personally stood up, took out his sword and said, I want to find out who is the culprit and I want to personally punish him right now. So that's the kind of responsibility that was vested with the king. And the kings, there was a check and balance on the king. The kings were advised by the Brahmanas, who were supposed to be completely renounced. They had no agenda, they had no stake in the society at all. So they were completely renounced people. They would take an impartial view. If the king is not performing his duty, citizens have to perform their duty. That has to be checked by the king. Now, who will check that the king is performing his duty or not? Like we have the example in the Bhagavatam of Vena Maharaj. He did not perform his duty of guiding the citizens on the path of Dharma. So all the Brahmanas got together and they finished him off. They said, they replaced him. They said, you are not fit to be king. Replace. So we can understand by this kind of check and balance was there in the society. And now if the Brahmanas go wrong, then what happens? Then the whole society will get degraded, which is what has happened in Kali Yuga. The Brahmanas have got vested interests. They have become stakeholders. They want money. They want. They are no more renounced. They are no more engaged in the sole pursuit of spiritual advancement. They have got entangled in all material engagements. Because of it, the society has degraded. So if the Brahmanas are proper and Kshatriyas are properly following the Brahmanas, then no citizen will have the guts to exploit any woman. Not possible. That's how we have to understand. We'll stop here. Grantharaj Srimad-Bhagavatam ki jai. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol.